Hey everybody, I'm here with Bret. He's been so kind as to kind of sit down and do an interview with us. Talk to us about some of the experiences that he's had here with our 3D Synergy system, helping him with brain, body, and biochemistry balance. He gave me this to keep in the office, so eventually we're gonna have this on display with a little bit about. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll hold it up close, but there are a lot of head impacts in this thing. And as we're learning, those head impacts can be a bit of a problem. And that was kind of what we ended up. I'll just set that aside. We ended up trying to solve, resolve some of that past damage for you. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was life like before we kind of brought this up and decided to do something about it?
Well, I had lots of little things that happened all the time, and the one that I was actually thinking about the most today was I would have just days go by where I just felt so clumsy, where I would just like everything I picked up, I would just drop or knock stuff over, and I felt like I just didn't have a good awareness of where my body was.
Yeah.
And there were other little things that went on with that. Lots and lots of headaches, a lot of brain fog.
Yeah.
Other things like the ability to separate my eyes and be able to see double anytime I thought about it.
Yeah.
And some sort of the ability to sort of also disconnect from my body and sit there and like look down at myself, and if I wasn't moving around, having the feeling like I couldn't even feel myself.
Yeah.
So it was like I just felt very disconnected from my body.
A lot of disconnection phenomenon.
Yeah.
So when you found out about this, what gave you the impulse to say, yeah, let's try to make a change?
Well, I'd been seeing Seth for a while as a chiropractor. He'd been really good with that, and I was waiting for my appointment one day and reading through the sheet that you had out about the program, and realized that I had a lot of the symptoms that it talked about, and started thinking back about my experiences and the fact that having played football, and that helmet that represents one season of hits. I had I never got to keep my high school helmets. I didn't keep my college helmet, but I wore a different helmet every year that I played in the men's league that helmet is from. And
yeah.
That was every year my helmets were coming away looking like that, and realizing that I'd had a lot of cumulative trauma to my brain, and just the pieces all sort of fell together along with some reading I had done about cumulative stress and brain injuries in NFL players, and feeling like I had some of those symptoms as well, and
yeah.
realizing that you, Seth, could do something about it, that you had this program that could actually make some positive changes.
Yeah, and it's been cool seeing how things have come along.
Yeah.
So what was your first breakthrough or change that you noticed when we began working with this?
Well, the first one I really noticed was that the end to that ability to see double on command.
So your eyes stayed lined up.
My eyes stay lined up now. They, it had been anytime I started thinking about it at all, suddenly I was seeing double, and it wasn't necessarily in my control if something reminded me of it, and I didn't think about it because I wanted to. And that's just disappeared. I no longer have that as a symptom.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed is a great reduction in the clumsy days. Yeah. They're not gone entirely, but I'm still going through the process. I'm still having exercises to do, and I've seen a drastic improvement in that, and a whole lot less of the clumsy days.
Yeah. So what changes have you made since we started doing this? Any new concepts that have started to kind of change the way you look at things?
Well, the lack of clumsiness just it makes my life so much more pleasant. It makes me happier. It makes me less likely to be frustrated, which makes me feel like I can deal better with my family and my coworkers, and makes me feel less likely to be at the end of the day just at the end of my rope and not wanting to deal with anything.
Yeah.
So that's been a big change. It's also got me more confident in doing some of the physical activities that I'm a bigger guy. I am trying, perpetually trying to lose some weight, and being able to do more of the activities that are good for me, and not worrying that I'm going to trip and fall on my butt while I'm doing them.
Yeah.
So that's been a great change, and just feeling more comfortable.
Yeah.
Feeling like I feel like I sit up straighter. I feel like I don't slouch as much. I feel like I am not doing all the weird, bad ergonomic stuff that I used to do at work, where I'd be like leaning off to one side and stuff, because I feel like everything's focusing better.
Yeah. Now, did you ever doubt this path or feel stuck along the way while we were starting to work?
I wouldn't say I really felt stuck. There's always that feeling when you first start something that you're a little worried about whether or not it'll work, whether or not the claims will actually stand up to the hype. But that was probably the most doubt I had throughout the thing. Once I started seeing improvement, I was like, yeah, this, even if this doesn't take care of 100% of everything, and I'm still in the process, so someday it might, but even if it doesn't, I've made so much progress, I'm so happy that I've done it.
Yeah. Are there any roadblocks that still remain?
Well, I do still have the occasional clumsy day, which would be nice not to have. The other day when I dropped an entire package of taco shells and my family had taco salad instead of tacos for dinner, was not my best time, but and that was just on a clumsy day. I dropped a few other things that day. But everything's improved so much. The idea of a roadblock at this point is kind of a hard thing to put a pin on.
So what's the biggest success, win, or for evolution that you've experienced?
I really think I'm thinking so much clearer. A lot of that brain fog is starting to lift that I've experienced over the years from having hit my head so many times.
That means something, is being an engineer,
yeah,
after all, right?
Being an engineer, be able to think more clearly, and I also, and I'm not sure if this is directly related or as a continuation of the other things feeling better, I feel like I've got more energy.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm, at work, I'm tackling problems more proactively than I used to. And I'm going after projects at home a little bit more than I used to. Finally getting my honey-do list to shrink rather than continuously expanding.
Yeah.
I have, in the past few months, with little help, tackled moving two fairly sizable sheds on my property, one of which had to be moved no matter what, but the other one of which I probably would have just kept procrastinating on in the past.
Yeah. Because
I would have been worried about hurting myself or breaking something.
Oh. How does this change your perspective?
So the one that, like I said, it was earlier, was fresh on my mind, is the lack of clumsy days. It makes me less scared.
Yeah.
It makes me more willing and more able to say, yeah, I can go tackle this thing and not worry that I'm going to come away with an injury.
Yeah. That's huge.
Yeah.
Oh, if you were to share something with everybody else right now, what would it be?
I would say that if you're feeling any sort of brain-related sort of fogginess or dysphoria or any of those sort of stressors that come from when your brain and your body just aren't working together quite the way they're supposed to, that you should be trying this program. It is helping me so much, and I'm going to continue to do it because it continues to help, and I'm happier, and I feel more energetic and more confident in my own body. So it's worth trying, no matter how skeptical you are. Things like this are worth trying, because when you stop trying, that's when you've given in and let the pain and the problems win.
Well said. Thank you, Bret.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Seth.